Yeah, before you get here, there we go.
Being
And then,
live streamed. Yes, got it.
yeah.
Okay.
So they all submit stuff prior to the meeting, and then we sort of collate it here, make sure that it's working right. Get lyrics and stuff as well, so that we can post that along. And that's kind of how it all works. And then it all gets posted to YouTube after the meeting starts. So right now we're actually on YouTube already, because there are some people who want to just watch and don't want to log on to see this thing, and there's other people that have regular day jobs and stuff, and they're just too busy, too tired, whatever. So they want to watch and see what happened, and hopefully they're not missing too much.
Okay.
But the people that are here are people that also want to ask questions of you and things like that too. So.
Sure. You want me to just start the music? I can talk about myself for 5 seconds if you want. I'm Barry Rudolph.
Yeah, you can talk about yourself, but let me do a quick introduction here.
Oh, you're going to introduce me.
Those people that are on YouTube, welcome. For those that are watching the archive, welcome also. This is a really good event, great evening here with Barry Rudolph. Now, for most of you who don't know who Barry Rudolph is, he's a recording engineer, mix engineer, and everything else. Technical writer. Currently, he's been writing for Mix Magazine, Music Connection, and he's very well known for doing reviews and things like that. He's also got credits on more than 30 gold and platinum records, so that's a pretty impressive track record. So he's heard a lot of good stuff, and he's also been really open to doing a lot of other things too. He has a tech breakfast thing that goes on. He'll talk a little bit about that. And currently he has a studio, I think up in the valley. So
well, I'm in it right now. This is my control room. You can see somebody asked about the gear on my right there, and the stuff over here.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of the gear, and then also how you got started and all that there, Barry. So take it away.
Well, the career comes by accident, really. I went to college for electronic engineering, and I worked nights, my way through college nights, at a aerospace companies in Anaheim, actually. And I was a digital test tech, and there was only 2 of us that worked night. The rest was all analog people working on operational amplifiers, if you know what that is. Anyway, so that interest in electronics came from starting in about the 5th grade. I started winning science fairs for building stuff. And this gear is just some of the analog stuff I use to mix records with. The engineering career is a complete accident. I worked at an aerospace firm in Irvine that made data multiplexers. You don't need to know what that is, and I got fired, and I was for no reason, and I was able to collect unemployment. And while on unemployment, I wandered into a recording studio down in Orange County, and I go, well, this is pretty cool. I'd been a rock and roll band in high school. I said, this is pretty cool. We got music, we got electronics. I like this. So I kind of learned the basics at this place in Orange County, and the owner was an alcoholic, without mentioning any names, and he passed out during a session. It sounds funny now, but he actually did. He had this routine where he kept a refrigerator in the bathroom, and he would tell the client that he had some kind of urinary or kidney issue. He had to urinate really often, and he would go to the bathroom to pee, and he kept a refrigerator right there in the bathroom. And while he's peeing out one, he's like this, and the other hand is down here peeing out the last one. Anyway, he had a problem, and he passed out, and I finished the session, and the next day he says, okay, you're doing all the sessions. And that was kind of my, if you will, baptism of fire thing. But he was not a good businessman, and he ended up not paying me and so forth. And I heard about a studio in West Hollywood that changed hands, and I went up there and got a job for $50 a week. I know it's hard to believe.
Wow.
It was also 1970. And anyway, And 3 years later, I had my first #1 record. So I guess it was meant to be in
Wow.
some way. Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so worked with a lot of music artists. You can talk about that if you want, but let's get to your music. Let's hear you. I'm looking at these notes here. A little about that. You really want to know about all? It's not really lit up very well, but I can tell you there's 5 racks of this stuff. You can't see 2 of them on this side. Anyway, full of this gear, and uh, as you probably can understand, some of the old analog stuff sounds better than some of the new stuff. So I have some of the coveted uh, gear, and it all is hooked through interfaces into Pro Tools, because that's what I use. I use Pro Tools. So I have 110 channels of interface IO in and out from Pro Tools to all this gear. So if you had a lead vocal and you want a really cool sound, you might want to go over and use maybe one of these. This down here is an old AM transmitter broadcast, this piece here. The thing below it, that black thing, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it barely. Right here is a piece of gear from the Korean War that a buddy of mine bought 10 of them at a war surplus store for $5 each, and he had them all, and I got one of them and fixed it, and it's in the rack. So that's what all that is. No big deal, really. I'm looking at some other questions. Condenser mic using what audio? Oh, do I recommend? How much money you got? Interface or preamp or USB? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. We can talk about gear things later. Let's listen to music. You'll figure it out. How do you get a #1 song in 3 years? I'll tell you that the record was called Show and Tell. The artist was Al Wilson. Al Wilson, that was his third record, third single. Maybe you've heard of this guy. And he had his first record was a record called The Snake. It probably got to maybe 20, 10 or 20, not that high. And the producer, Jerry Fuller, found him in a bar in Covina or something or other, and liked his voice. Producer always went by the sound of a person's voice, and he would write the song. So Al Wilson, he's just one of those kind of voices. And we cut that song 3 times. We cut that song, and this is another thing about music business and music in general and art in general is Jerry was persistent. He wrote the song, published the song. He knew that song was a hit. We cut it 3 times. The first time was with Johnny Mathis. I recorded a Johnny Mathis album, if you know who he is. Jerry produced it, and nice guy, came in and sang the song, nothing. The next guy that recorded it was Jerry. The producer actually cut it. He had an artist deal with the label, and he recorded it. And the third time, here comes Al Wilson, and Jerry, he just knew it was a hit, and he cut it with Al Wilson, and yep, #1. Which in those days was about I want to say nearly 2 million copies. So that was my first big success as a recording engineer. The other borderline between the analog and the unique. No way. I'm not unique.
I have a sort of a corollary to that, which is when you have both.
Yeah.
How do you mix them? What do you do?
Well, all the digital stuff are software.
Right.
All runs as plugins inside of Pro Tools. And I have about 2,000 plugins. So I mean,
when you say you use analog,
yeah.
Is everything digital now, or do you actually have an analog track that you
can people mix an entire album on a laptop and a pair of headphones. And you can do that. And it'll sound pretty good if the music's good and recorded well. But literally, that's what it's come to. You mix an entire album on a laptop.
Yeah.
And you can work that way. I don't like it really too much. It's, you got a little tiny keyboard and a little bitty screen about that big, and so I have 3 monitors. I don't know. Whatever you like.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if
Borderline.
you're going to use analog for something, okay, now you've got an analog track. What do you do next to mix it with all the digital stuff? How does that work? I'm obviously not an engineer.
Okay, so in Pro Tools, you have on each channel, right? Each fader, like the bass, the kick, the guitar, and you're mixing those, right? Those faders. You have an insert point. In Pro Tools, there's 10 of them. So I can build a chain, whatever I want to put on that. Let's say it's a vocal and I want to use an analog EQ. You insert it. So some of these, like right here is an EQ rack.
Okay.
So I can put any one of these EQ inserted on that vocal. And those are analog, and so it gets converted to digital, gets used on the vocal, and converted back to analog. It's like a loop.
Yeah, but all of those things exist both ways, as analog and digital.
That's right.
Dave had mentioned 1176s and LA2As. They also exist in the digital realm.
Which plugins? And I have all of those too. Yeah.
Which ones do you prefer, or do you have
always the analog?
Always the analog.
Yeah. Except I don't. If I wanted to use the same kind of compressor on 20 tracks, I don't have 20 of them. You follow? So I would have to decide which one I want to use the real one on, and I probably wouldn't do that anyway. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. Play music. Looks like you live on a borderline. You need to be a musician. Oh, I was a drummer in a rock band in high school, and we were terrible. But I built a PA system. They didn't have a PA, so I built one, and we play school dances. We were terrible, really bad. And so I had the in, I guess you might say. I built the PA. They didn't. The singer. It's a long story, but yeah.
That's how David Lee Roth wound up on Van Halen, because he was the guy with the PA system. So
there you go.
Is that right?
All right. Well, let's listen to some stuff there, Steve. So who you got?
All right. Okay. Let's do this. Let's put up Catherine first.
Do you tell me the person's name or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll do that. This is Catherine Beck.
Okay. Oh, right. I heard a little bit of her. Yeah.
You can wave at him, Catherine.
Yeah.
Is she? Oh, hi, Catherine.
Yeah. And the name of the song is called Rodeo. And what I do is share the screen, and then I'll start playing it. And then you'll see the lyrics up too, and I'll try to make them so they can actually read them. And let's see here, share screen. Here we go.
Awesome.
Just an ordinary dusty day. You were rodeoing and I was with the kids, and your brother called and said you've been hurt real bad, hurt real bad. My heart was in my throat the whole day. Seemed like a century to get to you. And the doctor said, I'm sorry, but his riding days are over, over. I love the rodeo and you, I always will. You don't have to prove anything, you're all I need. You're all I need. 'Cause you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. feeling sorry for yourself. I knew you just wanted to disappear. And I said, go outside and talk to God. Talk to God. He went outside and prayed a lot. He saw the things in his life that he forgot, like all his friends and family, helping him through those darker days, those darker days. I love the rodeo and you, I always will. You don't have to prove anything. You're all I need. You're all I need. And you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. Yeah, you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. Sometimes dreams aren't meant to be. Sometimes you get a second chance. 'Cause you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. Yeah, you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. Your rodeo.
Okay, great. Yeah, everyone's clapping. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't have really too much to say about it. There's a distortion going on in there that kind of is distracting to me. I don't know what it is. And there's no bottom end on on that thing at all. It's like the thinnest. There's no. I think there's a bass instrument. I think there's a kick drum, but sonically, I would try to figure that out and that distortion. But other than that, I think I like the song. I'd like to know what rodeoing someone is. I'm not sure about that, but
Catherine, are you there? Are you there, Catherine? Let's see. Any comments, Catherine?
you might want my address so she can come by and kill me.
No, it's okay. Can you
No,
hear Catherine?
that would be in the realm of a proper demo. The fidelity of the recording needs to be figured out. It's a little rough. Not the music, not the mix so much, but just the kind of like it's hard to listen to.
Okay. All right. Next up, we'll have let's see, Dan Marcus. Let's see, called. Wait a minute. Where's the? Oh, there it is. This is called Heavy Machinery. Is Dan here? Dan's here, right?
Yeah, he is.
There he is. Okay, here we go with Heavy Machinery. Oops. Sorry. Skipped a step.
We're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, the hearts and the flowers, baby, they're all right, but they don't compare to when I'm with you at night. We're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, I've got to be close to you, what more can I say? I'll move any mountain, babe, that gets in my way. We're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love. First saw you, the buttons you pressed, you set me in motion, baby, you know the rest. We're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, we're talking heavy machinery, baby. When it comes to my love, when it comes to my love, when it comes to my love, when it comes to my love.
Yeah, so you can hear the difference in the bottom end, I think, all of you that are listening, between that and the first song. So that's kind of, in the demo mode, when you're doing a demo, it has to kind of fill the room with, some good sound. Now, I don't know really, I have no really any criticism really about any of it. I mean, good, nice little song demo. Some of your rhyming schemes I probably would work on, so they're not so always the same iambic pentameter kind of thing every time. They don't have to be that symmetrical, But other than that, I mean, yeah, sure.
I had a little question there, Dan. The female vocals on that, is that something that was generated in software, or is that actually women singing?
No, actually the female vocals is actually with us tonight. That's Miss Merle Weaver.
Ah, that's Marilee.
She provided all of the female vocals through the magic of recording.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Next one is called, this is Dave Clausen, and it's called When Good Goes Bad.
Walked on water, 'cause you smile at the skies until the clouds rolled in. I could see it in your eyes. You never really know which way the winds will blow, and all you have longs for, all you had, hold on with all your might. Cry your heart out through the night. When good goes bad, Soon you started sinking. A tempest filled the nights. Rain started pouring. The forecast called for spikes. You never really know which way the winds will blow. When all you have longs for, all you had, hold on with all your might. Cry your heart out through the night. When good goes bad, every summer has its winter. There's no silver without dross. Every light casts a shadow. Atonement bears a cross. You never really know which way the winds will blow. When all you have longs for, all you had, hold on with all your might. Cry your heart out through the night. When good goes bad, good goes bad. When good goes bad, when good goes bad.
Most of my commentary would be probably production things. The lead vocal, if it's somehow you can kind of reduce the amount of vibrato, it's kind of a little much for me anyway. The track is pretty cool. I think you could do some things with some of the sounds. I think you should have a jingly jangly acoustic guitar banging chord changes through it all, just to fill it out a little bit, and probably make the electric guitar stuff fit better in a way, because there's really nothing really chording much, or at least I can't hear it throughout the song. So a nice jingle jangly 12 string, even like acoustic guitars, a couple of them maybe, and the vibrato is the only I could listen to it again and give you some more. There's a bunch of things you could do though, but I like the song, I like the arrangement, I like the chord changes. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Barry. Yeah, I'm trying to be the one man kind of producer thing and still learning Logic. And the only thing I didn't play was drums. And yeah, that's me singing. So yeah, if if there's anything else you think of, I mean, we don't have to have everybody listen to it again, but
I think whatever you're playing this thing, and maybe it's YouTube, but everything is mono. I mean, it's not very much stereo width coming out of there. And it's all kind of maybe that's YouTube.
yeah, Stephen, do you have your settings for stereo on Zoom?
Can you play it out the Zoom? That
Is there such a thing? Here-
don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
there
Don't
is,
worry
yeah.
about it. You can figure it out later.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was going to say, I can, where is it here?
So Stephen, under view options, I think there's a choice for more when you share the screen. I think there's a
Okay.
choice for original sound, and I think there's a choice for stereo.
Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry.
So all the tools at the top of the Zoom's
Right.
toolbar.
I gotta hover on the right place to make them come up, I guess.
Yeah, center of the screen, and then to the right it says more with 3 dots, and there's a choice for original sound and stereo. So yeah, I mean, I
I've got
recorded it, and I
original.
hear the stereo width. I think it's just Zoom is sending it out as mono.
Oh, I see. We just go here. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Yeah.
no worries.
Yeah.
That is a good thing though, because also it is important to check your mixes in mono. Back in the day, we always did that because AM radio and also television sets at that time were all mono. So, quite often a mix would come out sounding really weird because they weren't checked that way. One of the first things that I remember doing was when the Alesis multiverb first came out. I was really excited. And then one day I mixed it to mono, and all of a sudden the reverbs went away. Turned out that the idiots at Elisa's, I shouldn't say that, but my friends at Elisa's, put it that way, they forgot to check it in mono. So as a result, left and right sides canceled, and it wiped out the reverb set on some of the presets in there. So just something to think about.
I still hear that on whole mixes.
Yep.
Anyway, next music. Play music.
There
No tech.
All right. So this is Ed Lackey, and the name of the song is let's see. Oh no, I'm sorry. Next is Emmanuel. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I'm sorry. No. Ed is right. Okay. This is called Where Did We Come From? There we go.
Hey, we're born in a flash of light. A world of darkness turned bright. Slapped to the rear and a cry is heard. A child is born and that's the word. Where do we come from? Where do we go? What is the answer? I do not know. We're here for a very short time. It could be a poem, but it never rhymes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Turn around and time turns fast. Childhood, it never lasts. Grow up, you're sent to school. Come to lawyers, others fools. Where do we come from? Where do we go? What is the answer? I do not know. We're here for a very short time. It could be a poem, but it never rhymes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Every night I watch the news. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. The world is changing, bought and sold. Nothing as we were told. Where do we come from? Where do we go? What is the answer? I do not know. We're here for a very short time. It could be a poem, but it never rhymes. Whoa, 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 whoa. We grow old, our bodies frail. Somewhere, something fails. They come, put us in the ground. Our whole existence bought by the pound. Where do we come from? Where do we go? What is the answer? I do not know. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Whatever happens, I know it must. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
The whoa song, huh? That's what I would call it. I don't know about the vocal sound, by the way. It's stereo now. If anybody's checking that, you can hear that. I don't know what to say. I don't have any commentary other than it's the rhyming scheme and the kind of this need to always rhyme. I don't think is healthy. Ask Bob Dylan. I mean, so I really don't have too much on that one. I was amazed I could hear stereo, kind of. And the vocal sound is not happening. The telephone thing where it's like this, like that. That's an effect. You don't want that on all the time. but maybe that's what he sounds like. Does anybody know him and talk in person? He sound like this when he's talking to you?
What do you think, Ed? Yeah.
I know part of that's my technique. So
No, part of it is because he's either doing this or he's got some berserk EQ on that thing, or the mic is bad. I don't know, but should sound like right up on the mic. You know about this mic thing, right? I hope you all know when you're doing a vocal, the closer you are to a cardioid, right? So here's my talkback mic. So this mic here, so the closer you are, like when you get closer, you get a bass buildup. It actually gets really boomy when you get close. So if you have a thin voice, your voice is naturally thin. If you get closer to a cardioid mic, this is a little, somebody gave me this years ago, AKG mic I use for my talkback. But if you get really close like this, you get a real increase in bass. Okay. And level, of course, too. So if you have a thin voice and you want to, and you can use it very effectively as a technique. You see really good singers where they're doing this. When they get loud, they'll back off the mic because they're really loud and they blow up the mic or whatever the preamp is on it, So anyway, next.
Okay, next is
Thank you for
Emmanuel
your comment.
Lawrence. Yeah.
What am I hearing?
This is Emmanuel Lawrence. It's called Everybody Like Green. I'm assuming he's talking about money. We'll see.
Yes.
Some people like red and painted on their cars. Some people like white and see it there in the stars. Some people like blue and see it up in the sky. Some people like brown and you might see it in their eyes. But if I lie, 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 everybody likes green in the pocket on purse. Everybody like green in case things go good to bad, bad to worse. And green's good insurance in case of the blues. And if you don't have green might have you. Green, 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 green. Everybody likes green. Now you know what I mean. Everybody likes green. Truth in Thailand is brown. Now in Norway it's blue. See in China it's pink. Other countries let you choose. Green's got great power, green's got a lot of weight. Green gets you where you wanna go, even into outer space.
Roger Endeavor, throttle up and go for green.
Cause if I lie, 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 green in the pocket on purse. If I like green in case things go good to bad, bad to worse. And green's good insurance in case of the blues. And if you don't have green, green might have you. Green, 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 green. If I like green, now you know what I mean. If I like green. Green picks you up, it won't let you down. Green helps helps you navigate, it helps you get around. Green when you want, green's what you need. Green can lift up the ball, make you your own king or queen. 'Cause everybody lies, everybody lies, everybody lies, everybody lies, everybody lies, everybody lies. Green in the pocket or purse, everybody likes green in case things go good to bad, bad to worse. And green's good insurance in case of the blues. And if you don't own green, green might have you. Green, 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 green. Everybody like green. Now you know what I mean. Everybody like green. She like green, he like green, they like green, I like green. She like green, he like green, they like green, I like green. Green, 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 green. Everybody like green.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm always down for some good blues. Good deal.
Thanks.
I hope you finish it. You know, maybe put some real drums on it. You got a click there, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal with a proper drummer, and some bass maybe.
Right.
But yeah, you know, always down for that. At the end there, when you go up the octave, you kind of have nowhere to go, so you probably should just fade out. Because once
Right.
you go up, you know, because you're up testifying up there, and it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe you could do an ending, but it's kind of like once you go up there, you can't come down.
Thanks for the feedback.
You got it. Good luck with it.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we have Gia Lev. I'm pronouncing it wrong probably. And this is called Broken Pieces.
Leve. Stephen.
Leve. Okay. Is it Gaia or Gia?
Or Gia
That's what I
Leve.
thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. I always get this wrong.
Tenth
I don't
time
know why.
here.
All righty. Let's see. Share screen.
I've seen the storms across the ocean, and sitting here, I'm at peace. Because of you, I'm whole, not broken. You brought the sunshine back to me. Broken in many pieces, like a puzzle waits to be figured out. You came and put me back together. I felt lost, but now I'm found. As we walk the country back road, where there's no one else around, wrap your loving arms around me, pull me gently to the ground. To me, figured out. You came, you put me recall the first time I saw you. The light was fading in the sky. You burned bright above the faces. Suddenly something stirred inside, told me you'd be mine tonight. I was broken in many pieces, like a puzzle waits to be figured out. But you came, you put me back together. I felt lost, but now I'm found.
Awesome, Gia. It's good. I mean, things I would work on is the chorus, would develop the chorus a little bit better. I would work on the vocal stack in the chorus, meaning the people singing with you, or maybe it's all you, but
It's only
that should be big. And also, as each successive chorus comes along, it should get bigger and bigger. Easy to do, right? But yeah, I like the song. It's a nice vibe. What else did I write down? The bridge, you sort of change the time signature in the bridge. I don't know that I'd do that.
right. Yeah.
You know, I'd rather you just keep straight ahead, you know, just have the drums chopping wood through there, just like they do the whole song. You know, when you start getting into changing the time signatures, I just wouldn't do that. Not on a pop song. Yeah,
Whether this is a pop song, is it? Or is it sort of leans a little
absolutely.
almost into Nashville country, it feels like.
Okay. International pop song. It's a pop song. I mean, everything I've heard tonight here is pop music.
So
I haven't
broad.
heard jazz. I haven't heard any kind of jazz or syncopations or anything that would be.
About that. I think that's the biggest challenge, you know, when you're putting music out, is to define it accurately, because algorithmically they pick it up and they put you in the wrong place if
Of
you don't.
course.
And then, you know, you could have one song that's quite different to another song. And so it's defining it. I think that's one of the biggest challenges as a self-publishing artist.
You're right. I mean, even the Grammys, they just finished voting the first round in the Grammys, and they're ruthless. If you enter, I mean, and they decide that your song is not the particular category you entered it in, they just change it. And it wouldn't be so bad, but they don't tell you until you've already bought all your ads and trade ads and, you know,
Wow.
all that. It's unbelievable what they do. And so they have all these categories. There's 100 categories. And
Well, that's the thing. And with all of these subcategories, is there any kind of like application that anyone knows of that you can run your music through that you actually get accurate? Oh, okay. You could call it this, you know, define it this way.
your song is a pop song. Lyrically, the sound of it, everything. Are you singing on it? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. You have a pop voice. What can I tell you? And then it's not like a bad thing. Most of the music you hear is pop music. It's here on the radio. Name an artist you like, and I'll tell you. Name any artist.
I feel that I sort of park in the more Diana Krall, Melody Gardot,
Sure.
you know, Karen Souza kind of sound, you know, because I got a lot of Latin to some of my music. This is actually straying a little bit. I feel it's going more toward a Nashville sound, but the
Nashville pop.
I said, you know, I sort of want to go more toward the Nora Jones type sound.
Well, That's still pop
Not
music,
quite
but I get
that.
what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, she's got multiple genres kind of,
That's right. Yeah.
in her.
I wouldn't really worry about that, but it's pop music, and you want it to be pop music. You want it to be popular, don't you?
Hell no.
People ask me, "What kind of music do you like?" And I go, "I like." He says, "What kind of music do you work on?" And you're like, "I like to work on popular music, pop music."
Right.
Oh, right. It's like the perfect answer too.
So would you call that adult contemporary?
Still pop music.
No, but I mean, would you call it that? Because it
Yeah,
sort of feels
sure.
like it's,
I wouldn't call it anything other than, just work on it and make it sound really good. I'm sorry I even brought it up.
I mean, I just thought that you might know because it's an important thing for a self-publishing artist is all.
I can't help you there. Ask the people at the Grammys. They actually have definitions of all this stuff, by the way. You can go on there and they have exact definitions of each one of their categories.
That
You
would be
actually can
helpful.
read it. Yeah, like global. There's a category called global music. What the hell is that? And they'll have a whole definition about global music because a record I worked on got moved. They switched categories a week before voting started for the first round, and the people were livid. They had spent a fortune. You can't believe how much money people spend trying to win a Grammy. It's amazing. Anyway, they switched categories and they were livid, and they switched them to global, and they looked up the definition and her music according to them. I didn't read the definitions, but you can go there and listen. I believe you can go there even if you're not a member, and look at these definitions of their categories. So maybe one day you want to enter your song or your music for a Grammy, you'll know which category to go in. I never thought about it much.
Well, it's really important because, it's all based on algorithms and you're asked at every step, no matter whether you're submitting for playlists or whatever. And, so it's, well, who's defining what that subcategory is, so anyway, it is a challenge. I'm just saying.
If you played your music, somebody would say it's either like country pop or pop.
Yeah, that's just one
song you just played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the isolated viewpoint, yes.
Good idea for a program.
It'd be impossible and easy to fool.
Well, one of the things you can do too, if you're on Spotify, it's interesting to see if you play one of your songs, who else they play behind you.
Yeah.
In other words, they'll play some other next song that's sort of like you.
Yeah, you also liked, like Netflix.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I was looking at artists, people that listen to you, that listen to other artists, and they were people that I know, artists that I know, because they're listening to me, so that didn't help.
I get you.
I don't think that I would use that I would just use that as a basis for a genre you want to be in, I guess. I just never even thought about any of this stuff. To me,
it's really important. It's really, really important in everything you do when you're releasing music that you have to accurately, define it. Even with your hashtags and everything, it all needs to line up.
Okay.
Well, Dave says in the chat here, it says, here's a website that uses AI to help you define your music. So,
let's see how well that works for you.
Yeah, really. Cyanide.
Yeah, try it out, Gia, and let us know.
Yeah, actually, it was in Submit Hub. They had an AI tool, and it defined me as folk. And
There you go.
But they did a sort of caveat. Well, this is kind of front end. We don't know yet.
You could say, hey, listen, if you had like loud acoustic guitars and bongos or something, that's folk music. You can define it by a lot of different things you could take away from it and go, well, it's acoustic guitars. It's somebody playing bongos and a tambourine and no electric instruments at all. Must be folk.
Well, even like that kind of thing, though. I mean, it sounds kind of basic to you, but for many others, it's just like, oh, okay, I get that, So it's not, I'm not that. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Next one. This will be John Bernard and Marilee Weber. It's called Good Morning. Let's see. Yeah, just Good Morning. Okay. Let me do the share here.
Good morning, my love. Good morning to you. That long, lonely night is finally through. The rain, it did fall. The wind, it did howl. Good morning, my love. Good morning to you. Making it up as we go along. Lucky in love, a love so strong. Good morning, my love. Good morning to you. That long, lonely night, we made it through. 'Cause when the rooster crowed with the morning dew, I woke up and found a good morning with you. Taking it on as we go along. Yeah, lucky in love, our love so strong. New day is dawning, so sunny and blue. This new day is dawning for me and for you. Good morning, my love. Good morning to you. Yeah, good morning, my love. Good morning to you. Oh, good morning, my love. Yeah, good morning to you.
Great, I guess. I mean, another blues song. You see Emmanuel clapping at 145 and, blues singing to your way to your fortune, I guess. I don't have anything really to say about it other than the vocal was on one side and the track was on the other. That's kind of weird, but that's really kind of a technical thing. It's a rough demo. I would call it a rough demo. And nowadays, people that are in a position to give you money for a record don't have any imagination, so you really can't give them something like that unless they really are a songwriter, and even a producer or anything like that. They just don't have imagination. Essentially, you give them finished product, and then they want to do their thing on it.
Yeah, it was thrown together. I realized that.
Yeah. No, it's a good demo. It's a good demo.
Okay. Let's see. Next up, we have Kennedy York, and this is called I Swear to God.
On my life, I swear to God.
take it out on me. Kick me to the curb with a double jack boot. Homie, don't stay, no, I'm going to LA. Gonna take it to the scene like I really wanna be. So Cal steady, I'm ready when I'm ready. We all be willing, we all be chillin'. On probation and using on occasion. Gonna take it to the scene like I really wanna be. On my life, I swear to God. Slow fried cooking, egg when you ain't looking. An envy that kills like in Beverly Hills. I kick it, I zip it, I grease it and I stick it. Pack my best in the wild, wild west. Dock to dock, from the cop to cop. No plan in my head, no plan when I'm dead. I keep a low profile, changing my style with 4G vision, HD vision. On my life, I swear to God. My old man will take it out on me. Kick me to the curb, a tough reality. But homie return and the lesson is learned. I'll take it to the scene like I really wanna be. On my life, I swear to God. So I'm watching my back, as a matter of fact. Word in the street, I'm pretty discreet. Now you see it, now I don't, now you will, now I won't. Gonna take it to the scene like I really wanna be. On my life, I swear to God. On my life, I swear to God.
Everybody's clapping. I have no comment really about it. It's all one note Charlie, and it's not really singing, I guess. I don't have anything. I don't know what that song is about. Anybody tell me what that is about? Can anybody tell me what that song is about?
It's definitely a street hood song, and I really liked it. I was wondering about the
Street hood.
yeah, street hood. You know, like just some
No, it
dude
isn't.
that's, you know,
No, it isn't. It wasn't dope.
no, it wasn't dope, but it was like a different kind of a thing. It's like white boy wannabe gangster kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, that's a
Right,
problem.
that's what I would put it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's interesting to me was the way that it was mixed. I don't know on your system, but on my system, the delays and the tambourine especially really came out very spatially oriented. It was very cool, I thought. Did it sound like that on your system too?
No.
No? Okay.
So I don't have much on that one. Sorry. Whoever, if listening in right now, are they? No.
Yeah, I think he's on YouTube, or he'll
Okay.
be on YouTube.
Sorry. I just don't have I don't have a clue.
Yeah. It is different though. I don't know. I thought it's just different. And so it was kind of interesting. Anyway, this is the last one. Okay. This is mine actually.
I don't think Taylor Swift would do that song. See, when you're recording songs, especially ones that are demos, you got to think kind of like.
There you go. All right. This is me, Stephen GC, and it's called For the Credits.
Awesome.
And let's see.
It's the aftermath of your night-long lover's debut. Did you have your show. All his best work to you, toying with your soul, with a stare so new. And if you stay for the credits, and if you stay for the credits, and were you thinking of me with your friend to me, lost amid his spell? It's your time to tell. It's the aftermath of my year-long season with you. Did you have your fun playing with my heart? And I won't stay for the credits, and I won't stay for the credits. And were you thinking of me with your friend to me, lost amid his spell? It's your time to tell.
Awesome. I think your whatever you have on the stereo bus compressor is like really clamping and cutting out sometimes. It's so much squash. You want to look at that. No, it's cool. It's like all along the watchtower, chord changes, those kind of changes. Nice. And
Never thought of it from that perspective. Okay.
yeah, it's nice. I like it. I mean, the format is, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's all good, I guess. I don't have any critique really, other than the stereo compressor is like clipping.
Okay.
It actually cuts out. I don't know if anyone else heard that. Anybody else hear that? Jimmy?
I was hearing it possibly as an artifact from Zoom, because I know sometimes Zoom does that.
Whatever. I'm saying whatever. It sounds like a compressor really turned up way too loud. It's actually cutting out. It's actually, anyway, whatever that is. But no, it sounds good.
So that was the last song. So I guess well, Jimmy, take
I
it
mean,
away.
I hope I didn't like upset anybody.
On the contrary.
Hurt any artistic feelings. I know how it is. Be criticized.
Well, this is a crowd with some very thick skin, and we've heard a lot of constructive criticism, and I think, I don't know, just speaking in general, I think the folks in SongNet here know the distinction between something constructive and something that's kind of a throwaway, if you know what I mean. And I mean, all the comments are constructive from what I can see, so that's good.
I'm not a songwriter. I'm not even a musician anymore. I gave that gave up a long time ago. I just have no time to play an instrument, but I kind of, have perfect pitch and that kind of stuff. So perfect relative pitch, they call it. So don't be around me when vocals and tuning and that stuff. Anybody tune their vocal in this room? You guys into that?
No, we've learned better.
I don't know. It's when I say that, I mean tuning it. And I don't mean to sound like auto tune. I mean just put stuff in pitch.
Yeah, I've had to recut stuff. And
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
interesting you've brought that up too, because I've always heard Rod Stewart a little bit out there, and you have worked with Rod Stewart, right?
2 albums I did with that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, some of his vocals were tuned, no doubt about it, and some of them he didn't give a shit. It's just kind of, you know, Rod is Rod, and I'm not going to get into stories about that guy.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Sir Rod Stewart, it's kind of anyway. He lives well. The house is for sale. The one he's in now. I recorded the second album I did with him up at his, a lot of it up at his house in Beverly Wood, which is a area around Beverly Hills, in his driveway, and 3-story house. Anyway, I could go on and on, but they brought a mobile truck up there, and the thing I will tell you is that the 3rd story was like his inner sanctum. He had the entire floor of the house, right? The whole floor is a train layout. He puts together little model trains.
Oh my gosh.
And he has this layout. And it's a pretty big house, and the entire 3rd floor is the train layout. And I hear if you get invited up there, then you're in the in crowd.
So, this recording experience with all these characters.
Yeah.
You have to give us at least one really good story about something, that happened that was fun or interesting or just unusual or something.
Talk about rock band. Like rock band, I did an album with Leonard Skinner, an album called Street Survivors.
Yeah.
And Tom Dowd was the producer, and I was working with Tom on Rod's record his first record up in Canada, and he cut it off a week early. It was supposed to be a 2-week up there in Toronto, and he cut it off a week early because Rod's engineer, the guy I used to work with, Andy Johns, showed up in LA. He couldn't get a visa because he's couldn't get into the country. So anyway, he showed up and at Cherokee, the studio in Hollywood, and they said, okay, Tom says, I'm sorry, man, we're going to cut it off. Rod's engineer came in LA, and we're going to go there. And I said, but since I'm going there and I can't be in Georgia, would you go down and sit with these guys, this band, just sit with them in Georgia? And I go, who are they? He's Leonard Skinner. He says, just sit with them, hang out with them. We already cut the tracks. Just be there. Okay. And I got down there, and, we're in the hotel the night before the first day, and Ronnie Van Zant sitting on the bed, and Gary Rossington, and all the guys they're all dead now. But anyway, they're all talking about we don't like anything we did with Dowd. We hate it. We don't like our performance. We don't like the sound. Everything we did at Criteria, we want to throw away. We want to do it over. I thought I was down there just to supervise overdubs and just kind of hang with them. And so I call up Tom in LA, and I said, Houston, we have a problem. And, basically, and he says, oh, okay, well, if you want to cut some tracks, go ahead. I'll see you in a week. So we ended up cutting the 4 hits for that record, the tracks. Yeah. And those guys, it killed me. Tom says, oh, by the way, when you get down there, go ahead and rent a car. And I'm looking at him and go, okay, kind of like, of course, I knew why now. None of those guys in that band were allowed to operate any kind of machinery. They're not allowed, no driver's license, not allowed to touch anything that had moving parts ever, right? And so I guess who becomes the designated driver? Me. So luckily I rented a pretty big car, and the sessions would start at 3 p.m. and go to about 2 a.m. It was a typical day. And I would get back to the hotel at 10 a.m. because after the 3 o'clock in session, that's when they would go out. They knew all the after-hour places down in and around Doraville, Georgia, and we're driving down there, and I'm driving the car, and Ronnie is sitting there, and Gary Rossington and maybe Alan Collins are in the back, We're driving along in those roads, like you see in those horror movies where the trees cover the road like that, and it's long into the infinity is the road. And I'm driving around there and they go, yeah, it's just up here, a couple more miles, And I'm driving and Ronnie's sitting there and he sees a little white person in a three-piece suit with a fedora hat and a suitcase. And it's getting bigger and bigger as we get closer. And he's looking and he goes, dude, I know that guy. Pull over, pick him up. And the guy gets in the back seat and Ronnie goes, we really missed you, man. What's happening? It's been like 6 years. And the guy in the back seat goes, I didn't really kill that guy. You got to believe me. And those are the kind of characters those guys hang out with, at that time. And Tom told me later, and he broke it off with them. That was his last record with those guys. They fired him. And it's in my memory because his daughter, Dana Dowd, was in town with her mother, and we had lunch, and I talked to her about some of those old times. And Dana she is 45 maybe. And talking about her deal and her father's estate and, that stuff. Anyway, that was kind of fresh in my brain, but lots of stories like that.
Rock and roll, man.
That's right. The annals of rock.
Those are just the clean stories.
Right. Those are the ones you can tell, huh?
Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, it's... Rod is Rod, and I did happen to do a couple albums with him, and it's a very pleasurable album. Pat Benatar album. I did a mixture last record called Go, G-O. That was a very nice, wonderful experience. Very nice person, Patty Benatar. And, some of them are really pretty cool. Mixed it at her house in Point Doom. They had it up for sale, and so you can imagine. So it was mixed in the box, and the house went on the cliff. Point Doom is the cliff overlooking, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. So you see from here to here is ocean, right? And the place where I was mixing, floor to ceiling windows and looking out, and her husband, Neil Giraldo, we'd start about 10 in the morning, and he'd come in, he goes, those guitars in the corners, turn them up. I got to go. See ya. And he would just take off, and I'd mix the whole record by myself. And he'd come back at about 3 or 4, and Pat might come in here and there. And she goes, I'm going to wait till you guys get it all done, and I'll listen to it. But that was pretty cool. It's not their best record, but there's one song on there I like a lot that I thought really came out great. If you ever buy it, and I'll think of the name in a minute. But anyway, there's a lot of really great times that you have. It's just the craziness stuff. And that's okay.
Those are the ones you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Rod was like a kid. That's the clean story for Rod. One of the clean stories. The other ones aren't that nice. So, anything else, everybody? Happy?
I was kind of wondering about what your take on albums versus single-driven market these days.
I have no opinion about that. It's we're in a streaming world. You can build any playlist you want. I have a playlist on my phone. It is fantastic. Totally.
To that, Jimmy, could I say something to that?
Sure.
I just released an album. I've been doing singles, doing the algorithmic dance with Spotify. I've been doing them every 2 months. And I had heard that, you could get your album. They were still reviewing albums. I've had the hardest time trying to find a place to look or even submit to that will accept an album. They all accept singles. And so it's really hard to get the entire body of work to be reviewed. I'm finding I'd be open if anybody knows how to do that better than what I'm currently doing it.
It's one of those things where you have to really look at the influencers. The influencers are the ones that are doing that. Particularly like these big playlist guys that are making actually making money creating playlists. Those are the guys that you want to look at for reviewing collections of music. Unfortunately, though, it also is kind of like the new tastemakers. You know, just like DJs used to be back in the day, you know, when we were younger. You know, we'd always listen to the radio and we'd hear what the DJ had to play, and the DJ was the one that commanded who listened to what. You know, it's different now because everybody's a DJ. Everybody has their own playlist.
All different. The whole world is all different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't bought an album that had one good song on it?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Right?
buy the album?
So now you
I don't know whether there's a case to be made for doing albums anymore, you know?
probably, I don't know. I have everything Taylor Swift has ever done. I have all of her. I think she's really great. She's totally nuts in terms of her business sense and everything else. And she comes from a wealthy family and all that, but she's a billionaire, over a billionaire already this year, a billionaire. And to me, that's one of the biggest shot in the arms for the music business in general to have that kind of an artist.
Especially post-pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. And my vote for best new artist is a jazz singer and for a Grammy. And I'm hoping that she wins because that is going to be very influential as to whether anybody is into the Grammys at all. She's a jazz singer. Her name is Lafe. I think anyway, she sings. She is half Icelandic, Iceland and Chinese. She's really good. Laufey, Laufay. And she goes by one name. Anyway, and she sings all those old jazz standards. She's really good. Plays guitar and sings at the same time, or piano and sings, either one. So that's my vote for best new artist. Whereas last year was, I think I voted for not Billie Eilish, Mexican girl. What's her name? I'll think of her name in a minute. And, you know, it's just, but totally the in the now pop singer. I think of her name in a minute. What?
Christina
Dua
Aguilera
Lipa?
or something?
No, she's
Rodriguez, the girl about she driving by her boyfriend's place.
Dua Lipa's.
Rodriguez.
She's got 12 albums out now, I think. No, she's been around for a while. No, I'll think of it in a minute. It doesn't matter. But best new artist, I voted for a jazz singer. You see? And I think the powers that be really want that for her. You got to know that it takes millions of dollars to win a Grammy now.
That's it. For regular folks like us, you know, I mean, I guess the discussion is, you know, is it worth doing an album anymore?
Of course it is. An album? I don't know. If you have a collection of 10 songs, is it worth it? I really can't answer that. I say, yeah, power on. I say yes, power on.
Especially if
It
there's
may
a
be
theme.
something to do with bandwidth, because an album consumes quite a bit of bandwidth.
Well, a stream is still a stream.
Right.
I mean, you can only play one song at a time, so it's a stream.
Well, I think it also has to do with how people listen and consume music too.
That's right,
You know?
sure.
I mean, it's not like people just kick back and, you know, put the LP. There's a push for vinyl, but I mean, the reality is that's such a small segment of the market, and it's hard to even find. I mean, the Taylor Swifts might get there, but you know,
I don't listen to all. I don't listen to all her songs on an album. I playlist
No,
it because a lot of it I don't like.
Right. So, I mean,
So-
you basically, as a self-publishing artist, you're sort of throwing all this money at production where you don't have a place for it at the back end. I mean, you're basically dumping all these songs at one time and, you know, trying to promote them singularly because there's no place to, I haven't found a place to review it.
Well, you can always do like they did back in the day, was to promote that single And when you start getting attention from that one single, or it becomes a hit, maybe, then everyone buys the record. And it's just the same. The album could be terrible, they'll still buy it. I mean, music is music. If you cut 10 songs you really like a lot, perhaps it can be an album. But
Dave wanted to know about some questions about production.
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to pick your brain a little bit. So, I hear all kinds of things from people when I'm trying to record everything at home. So when you're recording, make sure everything you're recording is coming in between like negative 10 dB and negative 20 dB. Some people say negative 6 dB. I'm just curious on your take on something like that.
You're referring to a VU meter scale, right? Talking about the VU.
Yeah, I'm using Logic at home, and it shows, how many decibels.
I know. Well, that has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
To me, offhand, it sounds really low level. It also depends on what you're recording.
Okay.
So what you're recording is comprised of a peak energy. That would be like, let's take an instrument like a snare drum. So when you hit a snare drum with a stick, the moment the stick hits the head and you have an instantaneous peak, that's the maximum recording level.
Yeah, you got that transient.
And then the decay, all the tone, the aftermath after that attack, all that information is there too. So you want to make sure you record it loud enough that becomes hearable.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is turning it way lower. That's bogus.
Okay. Well, you don't want to, back in the days you wanted to saturate the tape, but now you don't want those transients.
Just make sure it doesn't reds. No reds.
Okay. Good.
That's all. That's easy.
Okay. And then when you're doing your mix, do you have a target like decibel level peak that you're watching on your, stereo outs? Are you watching
again, no reds.
Okay, so you don't have to target negative 6 dB like some people are telling.
No, that's ridiculous. No, that's kind of just no reds.
Okay.
So if you have playing your mix and every snare hit reds, you're going to have to make the decision whether the snare is too loud or do something to control that snare drum level.
Yeah.
So you're looking for an LUFS. If you're going to do your own self-mastering and your own distribution, then I would recommend using a mastering engineer to master your stuff to get it to a proper LUFS.
Okay. Well, I've been using like negative 9 decibels as a RMS scale for mastering when I tried to master, that song you listened to.
Oh, LUFS, loudness units, full scale.
Okay.
That's a different scale than you're talking about.
Yeah, I pulled up both of those. The loudness.
For example, Spotify, typically I've measured it because I have a way of streaming stuff right into the Pro Tools rig if I want. And they're anywhere, God, they're loud. Anything from -5, -8, -12 is loud. LUFS. Yeah. And you go on Spotify, man, it's like, whoa. But there are mastering engineers that are able to get you that loud, but you sound good. Anybody can get that kind of numbers, but it sounds like ass. Okay. A really good mastering engineer get that loud, but it sounds good.
Okay. Well, at your skill level, are you just all using ear, or are you relying on you're still looking at LUFS then, right?
Sure. For that kind of release, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I mean, I mix I have a summing system, 32 channel summing, and that's an analog sum, and then that gets recorded back into Pro Tools. That's how I do it.
Okay.
Or, there's a couple of ways, but the reason for a lot of this is for recall. So when the producer hears the mix you send him, and he goes, "Yeah, I really like it, but can you do this and that?" And you make all those changes, you have to have all those things have to be recalled in the computer, and all the gear has to be set the same, and it's tedious. I love it, except we need more reverse cowbell. What? Or something I left out, or something, it's not important.
Couldn't let you go without one question about AI and the influence of that on gear and recording and everything.
Yeah. somebody, I think it was Naris, asked me about that, and I said, I think that anything has any AI to do with it needs to be registered, just like you have a registered copyright or trademark.
Right.
It needs to be stamped on there that AI was used in some way. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out AI wise. I know there's a lot of like bogus things, you know, where I saw a video where President Putin was having a wrestling with Putin, you know, stuff like that. It's like, they're really getting good at that stuff. But music writing, I don't know. I really don't know about that. If you're talking about music, I don't know.
I was referring more to the gear side.
Oh,
of it.
gear.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any to review yet. I'm waiting.
Okay.
I know they have some software and things that use AI, but I think that's a loosely used term these days because it's fancy and catchy. And
yeah.
Oh, they're using AI. It must be really good. You know, I don't know. I don't know of any of it being used on gear or software so far. I mean, I don't know. Do you know, does anyone here use AI for anything? No.
Sonable and
Oh,
Ozone, both are AI.
For what is? What did you say?
Sonable and Ozone.
Ozone, did you say?
Yes.
Ozone is
Ozone 11.
Yeah, I've got Ozone 10 that I tried to use it for mastering, but then I will try to master myself and compare. And it seems like the Ozone's AI algorithms just put a lot of high end in there. It sounds kind of harsh to my ears.
I've used AI ChatGPT just for ideas for songwriting, and just
How did that go?
lines. And sometimes there's some interesting lines. I mean, you'd pick them out. You've got to sort of scratch through them a little bit. I use it for speeches. I did an amazing speech the other day, and it was pretty much AI generated. And I'm also using it for social media because I don't want to be bothered with all of the content.
Got it. Yeah, I made a comment to somebody on social media, as you said, and they thought it was from AI. I wrote it. So that's the other half of that whole thing. And I don't know, maybe AI took it or something, but I'm a writer, so.
I am too. And I mean, it's kind of the lazy man's, I mean, it's pretty dang convenient, and especially when it learns how to respond to you. It's a time saver. It's like parking your brain.
I think that's the problem with it. Yeah.
It is the problem with it because it's too alluring. It's just like, well, I could just get this done in a snap.
Oh, they want you to buy it and get addicted and pay for it eventually. It's like Facebook is going to do
that. I pay for it. It's worth it to me.
How much?
I think I'm paying $7 a week.
Mm-hmm.
But, for the time that I don't invest, and it's important, I mean, I was told from the SEO guy that
what are you posting?
Could be.
And how many words are those posts? How many words?
Typically around 150, 200, because the algorithms actually comb them. And then the hashtags are also important. So, when you're not advertising or, basically the social media sites want you interfacing with all of these other people, there's your whole life. And if you don't, I mean, at least partly you can elevate whether they throttle it out or not with your content. And if you've got content that, that they can pick up words from that are somewhat relevant, and then you've got hashtags on top of that are relevant, they'll push you out a little bit more, but they just really throttle everything back. It's like almost a losing game.
Well, see, that's my problem with all of it, really. Do you realize any more income because of this?
No. And it's almost like you're on this wheel where you sort of feel as a self-publishing artist that you have to do that. It's one of the things I noticed, like, for example.
Are you an ASCAP writer or BMI?
I'm BMI.
Okay.
But when I went to Durango, for example, and you get in front of a panel of people, they listen to your music. One of the first things they do is they go to your socials.
Well, that's kind of not fair. I thought it was
That's the
about
way it
music.
was.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I'm just telling you, I'm the
I
messenger.
know. Okay. All right. Well, I wouldn't go there anymore. That's insulting.
There's a lot of it that's insulting.
I just, I wouldn't be insulted. It's like, I guess I'm out of touch with it for a reason.
Yeah, it's a different golden era now.
Well, not really.
Well, will
but
it be golden? Yeah.
Well, at least we're sort of in the driver's seat. It's just that you've got to navigate the territory.
Yeah, good
Most-
writing is still good writing. I mean, you can
yeah,
tell.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that you've got to be heard. I mean, you can
Yeah,
write
but if you have a
stuff.
publisher, they're supposed to get your tunes out there, I thought. That's what a publisher does for their cut.
Well, I haven't
Getting
done
half
that.
of your money.
No.
Getting half your money, usually. Usually you do a publisher-writer split, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're splitting your writers with another writer.
Mm.
Now you got 1/4.
Right.
What are they getting the money for? What are they earning the money for? So placement, placing your songs. I got a guy that sends me almost every day now loops. And he says, let me know if if you use them or someone uses them. And they're kind of cool little, ghetto loops, the kind of like what you hear underneath a lot of the R&B, hip hop, rap stuff, and very professionally done. And I know that if I said, can you multi-track this out instead of just your stereo mix, because I want to do this, he would do it. He would do it in a second. He'd give me the multi-tracks. And so in a way, I feel like a lot of people are very desperate to try to make a go in the music business. And until you do, shit.
Yeah.
I don't like to get on this subject because then it sounds like doom and gloom all over the place. But
somebody's making
what makes you attractive to people is your song and your song direction and the way you sing and lyrics maybe, but that's really going to set you apart. So that's what you should be working on. I wouldn't, all this other business stuff and algorithms and AI. I don't think that makes you a better singer. I don't think that makes you a better songwriter.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So,
but when you put the money into, I don't do my own production. It's like, okay, the money's been invested in the song. What do I do now? I don't have a publisher. So what you do is you want to get your song heard.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you get a publisher?
I might do that. Maybe Taxi. I might get more, bold on that. But I haven't been at that long. It's just that doing it by yourself is an immense amount of work for no return.
And of course, you can have two companies, one ASCAP, one BMI, and what's the other one? What's the other one? There's a third
CSAC.
one. Yeah, CSAC. You could have three publishing companies, and it's all different splits. One or more film music oriented. That's another avenue for you songwriters. There's an awful lot of people that do film scores, the Hans Zimmers of the world or whatever, and they don't write songs.
Mm.
They may do something to your music, and then to get a part of it, you'd have to give up a chunk.
Yeah.
But they're getting into one of their movies or something. So everything is a lot of this.
Mm.
So, and a lot of it is really a lot of personal relationships between a lot of people in the business. I see that all the time.
I think that's it. I honestly think that's
Sure. It's all important. Everything's important. So, it's good that you're learning about it and how it all kind of works. That really takes a lot of time. It takes a brain. It takes an interest. You have to be really interested and want to do that, really want to do that. You really have to be that way to get there. So it's something I have to congratulate you on. It's kind of like no reward and just working hard on stuff and not really seeing any immediate reward. Yeah.
Much, you know.
So
just console yourself that it's your legacy.
so I shouldn't keep you any longer because you have work to do, right? What is it? It's like here.
Taxi tomorrow.
Okay, you gotta start tomorrow.
Yeah, taxi starts tomorrow, so that'll be good.
That's
See you guys there.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much, Barry. You
My
rock.
pleasure.
man.
Anytime.
Barry.
Anytime. Let me know if there's something else, maybe something more technical. I'm getting a new computer.
Oh, what you getting?
I'm getting a Mac Studio, which is the big, tall, that thick. And then I'm getting what they call a chassis, which is it's a 3U cabinet. What's 3U?
Right.
3U is this in the frame here? 3U is here's 3U. It's not this, but that's what a 3U rack space is. In that case is going to be the computer and my 3 Pro Tools cards. They're big long processing cards, and then the 2 more SSDs for audio. You record to a solid state drives, and what else? Oh, the HDMI box, which will give me 3 monitors. I use 2 now, and I want the third one to be my 55-inch flat panel TV, so I can have the peanut gallery out on the couch, and they can watch the Pro Tools session or whatever. I sit out there, and anyway, my plans. I should have it in a couple of days. It's gonna be fun. Also very expensive. Yeah.
It's better than the classic trash can that everybody was trying to use for a while.
Well, they put those in a chassis too. Well, it's a whole other, they have to custom make the computer for everyone. Yeah. It's a whole other thing. And I have a really old computer that's sitting on the floor here that I'm using right now for you guys. And it does some weird stuff, really weird stuff. And
that's all of us. Yeah.
Not me. I mean, it does some very strange things. So I'll be getting rid of that, kicking that out the door. Somebody already wants to buy it from me. I can't believe it. I said, really? You want me to autograph it? Yeah. Would you do that?
Yeah. Well, there's some provenance in that. So that's all.
I don't think so. Not me. Anyway.
Well, thank you very much again, Barry. I owe you lunch, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
I'm not sure I'm going to be there, but you don't owe me lunch. No, that's
no. Well, we appreciate it, and you got the guitar too. Hopefully, the guitar will be fun. So
Jimmy gave me a guitar.
Yeah,
I mentioned that the guitar I had was the guy who owned it. Well, he has many guitars. I was over at his place, and I said, "Man, I need a guitar," and he just pulled one off the wall here. Oh, thanks. And he wanted it back, so I had to give it back.
Wow.
He's the guy that I did Rod with. Well, he was the guitar player in the band at the time. And he lives up in, anyway. His father, speaking of songwriters, his father is Jerry Lieber Stoller.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah.
That's his father, Jerry. Was his father, Jerry. Yeah. Jerry used to come up there and hang out. I think Stoller is still alive. I think. Anyway, yeah, he had the house that who's the guitar? Oh, Joe Bonamassa now owns that house up in Laurel Canyon. So Oliver Lieber, yeah, nice guy, and he probably has 100 guitars. I don't know how many. He's just endless. Anyway, and he's a great songwriter too, like his father. So if you guys have kids, start them early, I guess. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, pass down that legacy.
Okay.
Well, thank you again, Barry.
You got it.
Thank you very much, Barry. You're amazing. We really appreciate it.
Stay in touch. I'll through Jimmy, or I have a website. You could, you can go there. You can whatever, email. I don't know.
Right, that's on our website. Your website is on ours.
Yeah.
So if
Is it?
anybody wants to check that out, yeah, you can go to songnet.info, and under Barry's description there is his website. Yeah.
That's handy. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again. And we do
Bye-bye.
have our showcase coming up in 2 weeks. Email Steve, showcase at songnet.info to make sure you get reserve a spot for that. And is there anything else anybody wants to say before we call it a night?
See you at Taxi if you'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll see you at Taxi then.
All
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.